Text message.
Hello, this is Charles Anderson. January 8th, 2006, he sent an email to me expressing interest to learn about my group, Cycle of Life. At that time, I turned you down. But after much consideration, after dialoguing with you by email, I decided to call. It would be my pleasure to meet you. You can designate the time and the place, and I will be there. I'm sure we have much to talk about, because I would like to tell you about my group, Cycle of Life. I will talk to its members and see if we can arrange a meeting with them. Anyway, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
End of message.
Hello, my name is Charles Anderson, and I want to take you on a little trip. Please, follow me. This is New York City. It's my city, has been my city all of my life. All of the life that I want to remember, and I want to remember every bit of it now. I'm a happy man, and I want to tell you exactly why I'm happy. In about 2 hours, I will be gone from this plane. I'm transitioning tonight. That means to a lot of other people, I'm dying. I'm leaving this body. I'm leaving this body behind. Of my own volition, of my complete choice. Free will. I've spent a great deal of my life leading up to this moment. Talking with people who are curious, opening myself up to the curious. I'm leading my life and living it and ending it in the way that is best suited for me. And I hold no resentment. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone on this planet. To everyone who's on this street. To everyone who's waiting across the street. To come across the street, I'm waiting to everybody to say goodbye to everyone. Because I am a happy man.
I think that people look at us like we're these crazy cult followers, and they're gonna realize that we're normal, that we have heads on our shoulders, that we're smart, that we're intelligent, that we just believe something that really, really works for us, and we have a sense of peace and calm and stillness.
A lot of people think this is the death cult, and that was one of the things that I was afraid of. A lot of people will underline transitioning, well, since the whole thing is about dying. The whole is leaning toward dying. Well, we're all dying, if you want to look at it technically, physically. I'm just trying to make people more aware of the whole process. And I want to give people back that which a lot of has been taken away by other people deciding when this is going to happen. That you have the right, you have the choice to live your life fully. And that's what I want to underline. Live your life fully in your choice, how you want to live it. Live your life completely fully. I want you to live a long time.
My friends know that I practice this, and they're like, so you're going to off yourself when it's all said and done? I'm like, well, I mean, yes, I'm going to transition, but think about how you're going to do it. Going to blow your brains out? Medication? I'm like, all right, you know what? I was like, that's not what I harp on. It's not something that's in the back of my mind all the time.
We know that to us, which is so hard for anybody else to comprehend, that death is associated with rebirth, and death is associated with completeness, and death is not death. It's living in such a higher sense, in such a higher realm. What he's about to do is really a sense of enlightenment, in a sense of great joy, because he's getting ready to go be part of what we want to be part of.
And we have to be aware of that. A lot of people will misunderstand, and some of those people will be media people. And one of the reasons why I want to dispel as much of those misunderstandings as possible is why they're here. It's why we're talking. People who really will give us time to listen to what we have to say. The cycle of life, it's an enormous thing, but it's really quite simple if you look at it. We accept a lot of things in our lives that really don't work. We lead ourselves into places of personal disaster. They impose upon us things that we cannot change because we have made the choice that we cannot change. And therein lies the most important thing, the word choice. I want you to look at something. I want you to look at something. I want you to look at that. I want you to look at that building. That is a representation of who we are. Take that camera that you've got. I want you to look around here and see what we've done with our world. See what we've done. See what we've created. We've got riches, we've got wealth, we've got turmoil, we've got cops, we've got lots of crime, we have got lots of shit. Now, you want to choose this for yourself all the time. Do you want to consciously sit down calmly with yourself and choose, I want what Donald Trump wants. All these people have, I want to live in this building, this $4 million apartment at the top of this building. That's what I want. Do you really want that?
What I was here to do in this plan, I feel I've come to a closure. I'm moving toward a closure. I made a decision. I've been at peace with myself for quite a while. I've lived so much. I've had a wonderful, vast, beautiful, multivariate life. I've met so many wonderful people. I've had so many wonderful experiences. And I'm very grateful for that.
Whatever this means to you, I think that to be aware and to remain mindful that we're going to have an emotional reaction as humans. And Charles, I've known you. You know me. I was probably the biggest skeptic of the idea before I joined. I was the scientist. I'm Joshua. I'm a member of the Cycle of Life community. Charles, who, for lack of a better term, is our leader, announced his decision today to make his transition. It's not a surprise to me, really. I don't think, to many of us, I don't think it's a surprise. I'll miss his physical presence in my life, absolutely. And, we have conversations unlike any of my other conversations, so that will be missed.
Hi, Charles. I'm Ginger. I'm part of the Cycle of Life. It forces you to take a look at your own life and really reevaluate yourself, and I've never been happier.
Of red and gold, I see your lips. My name is Henry Shedd. I was born in Arkansas, but I grew up in Las Vegas. So when I was 3, we moved to LA, then we moved to Vegas. And then I grew up there, went to school in California. I moved here in '93. To become famous, I had my Isuzu Trooper and $900, didn't have a place to live. My parents didn't know that. Now you know. You wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I had to beg you, please, for your sympathy, I don't. Come on, boys. All right. We're gonna stop over here and look at home. Are we on?
So what are we doing now?
I just gotta grab some Brugal. Okay.
So Henry, why are you buying this bottle?
I buy this bottle because they cut me off at the bar. They said I drink too much.
It's a rhetorical question.
No, they said I drink too much, so they said I could bring my own booze. Can you believe that shit? I'm working for damn near free as it is.
I'm bringing you into contact with a lot of people. And a lot of these people that you met are very confident about where they are. They're not afraid to share what they know, what they feel about what they learned in the group.
You just gotta realize that there's really never death. You're gonna live on and on and on, maybe not in the same physical sense, but the main essence of you are gonna live on forever. And I promise that I'll run away with you.
I don't want to be misunderstood. I can see that you want to do a thorough examination of this group. Not only the ideals as I outline them, the principles contained in the Cycle of Life, but also the people that are involved. I want a good representation of the people. So far as what they want to say, I'm not going to tell them yay or nay. If they don't want to talk to you, that's fine.
How will you know when it's your time?
I think it's just kind of something that happens. You know, those of us that have been in it for a while and are reaping the benefits now of being here and using that vision of seeing the afterlife. I think it'll just be, it'll be a breath of fresh air. It'll be one day you wake up and you realize, you start to see your timeline. Right now my timeline is still here. I'm enjoying the fact that all of this is mine to use as I wish.
Josh is probably the most articulate, most straightforward. He can speak very, very, very clearly in the group. You've heard him. And I hope that he continues on.
I met Charles a few years ago, and he'd always talked about breaking boundaries and letting go of things. And at first I thought it was just like an idea. I didn't realize at first that he was so, committed to this idea, this presence that he had of kind of just breaking boundaries and moving on. It was casual for a long time, actually, before I really committed to the idea of creating an entire new existence for myself, using my own imagination without any boundaries.
He has a very strong understanding of the cycle of life's principles. He has a very powerful personality, too. He's not interested in giving up on life. Like, again, I underline, that's not what this group is about, giving up on life. It's about embracing life in all of its complexity and power right at the moment.
One thing that's like really, really important about the cycle of life is we don't take this lightly. Like, we don't, like, it's not like, hey, let's throw a party because we're gonna commit suicide, or like, hey, it's like my birthday, let's blow out candles because my time has come. Like, it's very, very spiritual, like, time that you are really just experiencing with yourself.
You choose.
And so it's really, to be honest with you, it's like it's none of my business when Charles Anderson decides to transition. And I know that when he makes the decision to do that, and if that is November 2nd, that's going to be the complete right time for him. And I totally respect that. And I am going to be really, really at peace and comfortable with his decision. Just like I know he would be with mine.
With mine. Well, I always felt judged, My father's family, I was the brown kid, and everyone was religious and very conservative, and I always felt out of place. I always wanted to be white, and because of all this judgment that the church would do, to my family. I mean, I guess they weren't judging me, but I felt judged, so I felt a little empty. I've been doing yoga for 5 years now. I'd say it really helps me relax, get into my body, meditate, open up my cosmic forces to the universe. I teach a vinyasa flow, so it's very flow yoga, and I like to think of it as waves. Waves of, say you're tired, the wave comes and sweeps away the fatigue and gives you energy, the sun rising, the moon falling. So the cycle for me works kind of like that, in waves. I would say the waves are the choices that we make within the cycle, and how someone, for instance, decides to leave, to transition. It's like a wave. The wave comes and gets the person, but the wave that the impact is still made is there, very present, lingering, if you will, just like the practice.
Like, I brought Jesse in from a very vulnerable point in his life, and it hasn't been like super long that Jesse has known everything about the cycle of life, and so I don't want him to feel pressure.
I can remember you just like sat there and you kind of looked at me and you're like,
really get to order.
I always tried to cover it under the rug. I mean,
I just don't think you believed it. I think you thought that I literally had lost my mind.
For a while there. When you first told me, I thought you were a little crazy. So it's just, how do I find a way to bridge this to my family and allow them to really connect?
I remember in my religion, I was so scared of everything. I would do this, and then the next day I'd be like, I'm going to hell for that. You know, I would, not that I always lived my life in fear, but I always lived my life in regret.
Guilt.
Yes, because I would still do things, and I'd have this guilt and regret that I did it, and just make myself feel terrible for the things that I did.
We're not trying to sell you anything. We're not selling you a manual. We're not, Charles Anderson isn't rich and a mega millionaire by giving talks all over the country. That's not what it's about. It's just about being present and being fulfilled in knowing that what the collective is, and that we have the beauty and the joy of being able to join it.
So growing up, I was kind of like a bad kid sometimes, a good kid sometimes. I grew up in the church. And I grew up in like a poorer neighborhood in a trailer park. And a lot of my friends were wealthy people. And so, in the church, it was all about like getting dressed up and wearing fancy clothes on Sunday. And I can remember this one particular incident where my family had to get groceries from the church, and we were putting them in the trunk, and I was like hiding down in the car because I was so embarrassed. Then I got married when I was 19, because I felt like the Bible told me so, and that was the right thing to do, and to fulfill physical pleasures. But I also felt like it was just what my calling was and what was supposed to happen at that point. And that's when a couple of years before that was when I was baptized.
Make sure the hot water is right for you. Take the time to make sure it's right.
When I was baptized, it was at night. It was like midnight, and it was freezing out. And I can remember, I told you this before about how I came up and I felt like I was high, and so for so long I equated that with peace, and like, even though this is completely different, I still feel excited because in some way I've had that lightness and that being.
Mm-hmm.
All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Charles asked me in a very nice and not in like any kind of pushing way if he could take me to the point where he felt that I could see like the end / beginning, and his idea was that if I could see that, then when I came back, when I returned, and when I was at peace with that I would really begin to take control of the here and the now. Because he says, and he was right, that once you realize that feeling, that nextness, whatever that is, once you come to terms with that and you come back here by choice, you kind of take the reins in this whole new way, and you start to create the life that you want to live.
We are told to hold on to this life no matter what. We can't let it go. We can't let it go. We can't let it go. And the body learns that. The body learns how to hold on to it. The body learns the fact that it will always hold on to it. Well, we have a procedure within our group to experience what it is to meet that confrontation that you will have with your body, with your psychology, with everything that's in you. We're going to go through something that's going to be potentially very difficult, but the rewards of seeing what you're going to see are enormous, and it's all yours. Everybody sees it in their own way, but they do. And when they come away from it, they are irrevocably changed. This is a very grave, sincere, sacred moment for her. And I want you to know that. And we're very happy that you're here, because this truth, this little bit of knowledge, awareness, which most people do not have, we're letting you get a look into, a window into.
If you try and explain this process to anybody else, they just think you're nuts or think you're crazy. They say, okay, so let me get this straight. You're going into your bathroom with this man, and he's going to, drown you. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, gentlemen, I need to ask you,
You have 5,000?
when this starts to move through completion,
You have 500.
you can't have stops and starts.
Yeah, I'm just so you know, like as a film crew, like I'm gonna have to take my time with it. So if you don't need to film that, then just so you know, this is so much deeper because it's for me. It's not because somebody else is telling me to do this. I'm making the choice to do this, and I don't have to follow a bunch of rules, and I don't have to be scared that I'm not doing something right, and I don't have to worry about outwardly sins or the spiritual warfare of good and evil. But I can just live in the moment, live in the present, live in the now, and not feel like I'm in this prison trying to get out, because now I'm truly free because I'm not scared of death and I'm not scared of living up to somebody else's expectations.
Just think, I'm going to help you through it by holding you down, and I want you to be aware of that. I will be holding you down, not as a hostile act, you know that. This is all
And I don't
about
have to be
love.
worried that I'm not going to connect, right? Like that that the light's not going to be there. I don't have to worry that I'm going to be a failure.
Feel how you feel. I will lead you up to that point.
And whatever happens is just my experience, right?
Exactly. That's sacred. That is yours. That's not mine. I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I'm not going to tell you what to think. You come to this point, and it's entirely your choice. You need to take some time for yourself.
And
That's
breathe.
perfectly understandable.
Okay.
You should do that then. Absolutely. I'm very proud of you. Very, very proud of you.
This is my boyfriend over here,
Great guy.
Shane. How would you say me, joining this group has affected you?
Yeah, I think it's been good. I think it's been good for you because, before you were really you were, like you said, you were in a bad place. I could see you
We all were.
sort of just falling apart on the inside.
Well, for me, like turning another age doesn't really mean much because it's just another day, like I'm living in the now, I'm living in the moment, I'm living in the present. So 29 is just like 28, except for it's happening right now, Okay, so I'm 29 tonight, and I'm perfectly content being 29 because it's the best age to be. And if I reach 30, it doesn't matter at all. I'm probably not going to reach 30.
You better.
I better reach 30 is what they say. However, I love myself and I love all the people that are around me. And thank you so much for being around me. And they're grabbing my butt and I gotta go. I love you. See you guys later. First of all, we don't like the term suicide. We prefer transitioning. Well,
The word
it just has
just
such
freaks
negative
me out. It
connotations. Suicide is something that you usually do because you're upset, or because you're sad, or because something horrible
Numerous
has happened
things,
to
family
you,
life,
or because you're broke.
things that
or
limit you, these limits that we're talking about.
It has negative reasons why you are doing this. But for us, the exact opposite is true, which is why we choose to use the word transition, because I'm not taking.
It's a flow.
I'm not taking my life because I'm ending something bad. I'm choosing to take my life because I'm beginning something amazing.
Soon. It's going to happen soon. Soon. I'm not ready today.
But you have peace with yourself. You're at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing we gotta do, what I gotta figure out is how to explain it to, dying is, with Annie Lennox, she said, dying is easy. It's living that scares me to death. So I gotta figure out, dealing with the parents and people who love you. Though that's gonna be the thing I gotta make sure I clean up before everything goes.
So you assisted him in killing himself?
Assisted him, yes. I assisted him in transitioning. He passed out of this life with a great deal of love and admiration and respect, not only for me, but mostly for himself. It was a very powerful moment.
I think he's psychotic, and I think that he gets off on this kind of crazy power that he has over these people. And it's sick, and it's still happening.
James Raslow. 5 years ago, James Raslow had a wife, Ginny Raslow. She was resistant to what James was trying to do.
So he got me this for our first Valentine's Day. He did it on his Photoshop, like he took a picture of us that he had taken in bed, and then he Photoshopped it to make it black and white. But I like the frame. I like the frame a lot. This is old. Damn, this is like the 4th of July.
Suffice to say, she was very confused and she was angry that he was making this decision to transition. But they talked over the many months leading up to his transition. And he communicated to her the deep understanding that he's achieved about himself. And since they loved each other, since there was a true union, she eventually relented.
He's a good dancer. Really good dancer.
This is in the last stages of my giving away a lot of stuff. The last several days I've been going back and forth to various shelters in the city. A lot of the stuff I just don't have any use for anymore, but I understand people have use for it. Talking practically about what people can use on their journey right now. I'm done with it right now. Now that is a reminder. I did not take it down. At one time that image of the Christ figure on the cross offended me. They're looking for something outside of them to give them the solution for themselves. That is a reminder to me of my task. Of proving to people that they have a choice right here, right now, how they want to live. It's not about here and now, and that's what I'm about. Here and now. Now, I'm not saying I'm against things. I'm not. They have their importance, but it's a fleeting importance. It's something that passes. People want to hold on to it. People want to hold on to their checkbook. They want to hold on to their bank account. They want to hold on to their money, especially now in this time where things are slipping through their fingers. And I'm not anxious to leave this world like, oh God, I can't wait to get out of this world. No. It's not that. It's been good to me. It's shown me a plane of existence that holds many challenges. And it's really so simple. As if when you get through all of the bullshit which has been laid on you all of your life, and you realize that there you are. It really is.
When your friends start to transition, do you think it's going to add pressure to you wanting to rejoin them because you just saw them not too long ago and now they're part of the collective?
That's a good question, and I think that on a certain level, I'm sure there will be emotional desires to rejoin. But one of the great things about Charles is that he stresses is that there's no pressure of a timeline or anything like that. And outside of the physical, chemical reactions that I'll have, of course, seeing my friends and missing them here, you know, my playmates and stuff like that. We've all, especially the senior members, we're so at peace with how things are going to happen. You know, that it's more like a blessing or a soft goodbye, and not so much a strained desire. Time changes when you do this. Time becomes a whole new thing. It's not as linear, you know. It's not like back and forth. It's just different. Time is different. You know?
But you'll see them all again.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So.
Do you want to be part of my transition physically? Do you want to see it physically? Do you? Would that make it easier? It's your decision. I'm giving it to you. It will be recorded. It will be filmed. I'm putting it out to you. You don't have to answer now. You have a few days.
Like chicken because it's finger licking.
No, I wrap lamb chops. It's got to be good. It's got to be good food.
Ain't nothing sticking to the napkin, because I be eating it all. And you know that you don't go to the mall. You live in Brooklyn, there ain't no shopping etiquette.
Sometimes you meet people in your life, there's not a bad word that you can say about them. You know, that's kind of how I felt about Charles. Like, it was an instant connection. You know, it's just like peaceful. It's never strange or forced or awkward or uncomfortable. But with Mark, like, you can feel his heart. Like, he's so pure. Like, I think that out of everybody in our group, like, he would just give this pure, genuine warmth to everybody.
How long have you guys been meeting? Not long. Say a month. Yeah. It's hard because I've got a lot of other things going all the time, you know. I've got work, and I'm moving right now, moving apartments, and I've got a girlfriend, and so it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot to kind of handle.
You've got to decide for yourself if you want to go. If you don't want to go to any more meetings, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You make the decision. Everybody makes the decision. Do you feel like any of us have ever told you what to do? Like you've got to do this, you got to do that?
No, but I mean, well, the thing is, it's like I have a 17-year-old brother, and I never tell him what to do, but I give him possibilities and I show him what's going on. And I can tell that his world is awakened by that, you know?
He trusts you.
He trusts me. Sometimes I just want to give all that I can to Charles and to the collective. But I struggle with that all the time, like how much commitment I can really make.
Whatever you want to say is fine, because I'm not rushing anything. It's all up to you. Really is.
I like that. I feel like I am a bit on the fence.
That's okay. I was on the fence for a long time myself.
How does your girlfriend feel that you being in this cult? She doesn't really see it as a cult. I don't think. I wouldn't say it's a cult. When people say it's a cult, I just kind of slough it off, you know?
If it's a cult, so be it. It is what it is. If you want to call it a cult, that's fine. If I call it a cult, whatever. It's just more than that. I mean, words aren't. There's so much more to life than just a word and definition and Webster variants.
Again, all these limits.
Yeah.
You know, and what we believe in is limitless. So
really...
you can't confine it with saying cult or trying to put some
you
label on
can call us a
something
religion. You can call us a cult. I can call us a family. I can call us a gathering.
You could call us anything. You know, slap a name on it, and then all of a sudden there's all these different things. These roads.
You could call us a neighborhood or whatever. It doesn't really matter because we know what we are, and each of us kind of feel like we're something a little bit different.
What is a cult? What's your understanding of cult? Just the word. Don't think about it. What's the word? You have to define the term very carefully. Many people call cults immature religions. Koresh, Branch Davidians. They look at Jim Jones. Now, those are usually the ones they look at to define the word cult, which is an extremely pejorative thing. Because Jim Jones was all about controlling people and ultimately destroying them.
Many of the suicides these people are talking about were done out of desperation, done out of complete not knowing. I found those to be sad. We don't off ourselves out of desperation because we don't have a connection to ourselves. We make the selection. We offer ourselves to the collective.
Before I was depressed and it was like my only way out. I just hated life so much and just hated my existence. And I met Charles and he showed me through the collective that it's you have to be happy with your existence. You have to enjoy everything, and then knowing that this is something that you are going to plan to do for the future to join the collective. Like I'm not just killing myself. Now I'm moving on with the people of the collective. So I'm never going to be alone.
So it's not like a suicide.
No.
You give up so much light. You give up so much sun yourself. You have so much energy. And I remember the way when you first came in, it was very closed, very hiding. And you might have been brash in a certain kind of arrogant, pernicious way.
Yeah, I was angry.
That hiding, but that kind of smile, that kind of positive energy that's coming out of you now, it's it's infectious.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
I know. I feel like I got to start over. I tried to kill myself once before when I lived in the city, in a garage with a car on. That was 5 years ago. I just felt like my life was kind of falling apart. I was doing a lot of drugs, like crystal meth. I just wasn't happy. And then I met Charles, and he saved my life.
She had some issues, And she's very upfront about talking about it, not betraying any confidence. She had trouble with drugs. And when I met her, she was in a kind of a bad way.
Yeah, it's hard to face yourself without drugs and alcohol after you've been an addict for so long. And I know that working in a bar, we talked about this before, working in a bar doesn't help the situation, but I feel like I have a pretty good handle on it now. Like being able to be around alcohol and people who are drinking and having fun and just constantly telling myself, like, remember, like, that's good for them, but for me, it just takes me down a different path. It just gets darker.
And that's incredibly courageous to actually put yourself in walking into the lion's den, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
And being at peace with the lions.
Yeah. Dealing with other people, relationships, which I have a very hard time with. You know, I'm a little bit of a free spirit, so I kind of just dive in head first. Such a romantic at heart.
Well, it's still a struggle, but the peace comes every day, and it's always. I think life is going to be a struggle your whole life, and you just got to stop and think about where you're at and where you're going. And even if you don't know where you're going, where you're at kind of determines where you're going. The truth is there in everything. Humans want to get along, and humans want to live with each other, and humans want to be with each other. And I really do believe there's a connectedness, and I think that's what most religions believe.
If you can give somebody the opportunity to open themselves up completely to the moment and understand exactly what that moment is, that is a triumph. I don't think there's any greater triumph. Because if you're not living in the moment, where are you living? You're not living anywhere. You may be physically around, but you're not living anywhere.
Everybody has to come to it in their own way. Everybody has to come to it the way they come to it. And I give them the suggestions, I can describe what they may or may not feel, but it's up to you, really, to make that decision.
It's kind of like trying to break through a brick wall, and you keep kicking it, you keep kicking it, you keep kicking it, and nothing's happening. And then all of a sudden, you kick through, and you're looking through this hole, and on the other side is the most beautiful image that you've ever seen. And it's going to be different for everyone.
It feels good, right? It feels good to go into this?
Plus, I have everybody, here
It's
to
okay,
make sure
right?
that
It's okay that these people are here?
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it.
No,
we talked
because
about the film crew here being here.
I think that it's really important, because I think that if people could truly step into our footsteps and look at how we truly, really believe in this, and if you can break through the fear.
Yes!
If you can break through the fear of the actual death,
yes,
or the actual, human side of it, then you can come up and know that there is something better waiting on the other side. And that's why I haven't really had nerves. I've just been excited and ready to know what the collective is truly going to feel like.
This woman, Alyssa, is about to go through something very sacred, something very, very personal. And we're inviting you in here not as a presentation. We're trying to show you a little bit of truth that's coming from an individual. This is a very grave, beautiful moment for this person. The person decides to do it. They're not forced, they're not shackled, they're not handcuffed or anything like that. They are placed into a large tub, a bathtub, filled with water, and the person is immersed. They're gently held down. And the person voluntarily does it.
For me personally, and everybody probably feels differently when they go through it, but for me personally, it was just really about conquering this fear of death. And so it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm gonna see starry lights, or I bet everybody that I had known who had died or anything like that.
We force the person, give them the opportunity to force themselves into a confrontation. Force is a pejorative term, but we have to use it to this degree because you meet a wall of resistance. And we want the people to consciously meet that wall.
And by going into this immersion, we take them to the point where they almost transition. She's made the connection.
I did it. I did it. I knew that my body wanted to push up and get out of the situation that it feels is bad. But I had to, you know, mentally and spiritually tell my body not to do what it wanted to do. It felt like nothing I've ever felt before. I would probably sum it up as peaceful energy.
I'm not talking about a religious dogma, I'm talking about spirituality. Now, the kind of things that exist within us, not out there, not in a cross, not on an altar, but within us has been touched on by many, many groups. In Christianity, their God, Jesus Christ, in the New Testament says, and I quote, "The kingdom of God is within." Not out there. The kingdom of God is within. The divinity is within you. You are divine. Not anybody else, not an abstract idea. The kingdom of God, the power of divinity, the power of choice, the power of divinity is within you. So you have the choice to do anything. You have the choice, essentially, if you use the right language, the right vernacular, to be your own God.
It was February, it was right around his birthday, and he had planned for me to have this night with my girlfriends. So he set up the whole thing. He set up a limo. He even gave me a dress, which he would never do. He doesn't spend money like that. And I came home, I crawled into bed with him, and he felt cold.
No, I would never apologize. Her husband made a very specific decision to transition into something that was very grand. I would never apologize to help somebody, apologize to some loved one of somebody whom I helped reach a higher understanding. That doesn't make any sense. I would only express sorrow if she didn't understand. I'd be sorry for her that she didn't extend herself, if this were the case, to understand more fully of what was really going on. And as far as my actions are concerned, there's nothing to apologize for whatsoever.
No, I did not meet him before Jimmy's death, or I would have been asking a lot more questions, that's for sure.
And then he called you after James died?
Yeah, he
said he left messages trying to...
Because he's crazy.
I've left a couple of messages over the course of the time before her husband transitioned and twice after he transitioned. She has never returned any of my calls. She has never returned any of my letters. Basically, the calls and letters were just asking for an opportunity to meet and talk.
If you could say one thing to James right now, what would it be?
That I'm sorry. That I didn't see what was going on. That I couldn't stop it. That's what I would say, and I miss you.
It was all voluntary. Nobody complained. All of the people that went through transition, you may find this unbelievable. But all these people that went through transition had closed off the books very neatly.
Maybe I'll even leave one out. Leave this one out. I think it's important that people see the wreckage of what is left behind.
I was fond of her husband a great deal. I was very close. I was very close to James. And he was very close to me. He had a very powerful personality. And he made a very specific decision. It wasn't a decision to hurt Jenny. It wasn't a decision to hurt any of his friends. Now, as a person in this world, I would say to her, you know, Jenny, I miss him too. Insofar as this world is concerned, I miss him too. But I stand by his decision to do what he did. I want you to understand, he did this for you. If you can see past the anger, someday see past whatever hatred that you have, understand that he is with you. He will always be with you. That understanding has to happen after the hard feelings have dissipated.
I was raised from birth in a place that would be considered a cult to most people, and it's hard for me to even say it's a cult because I have to admit that I was raised culty. Yeah, it's scary. I pretty much had to sacrifice a family life with my family because of something that I believe is good morally. Even it's like not necessarily a negative cult where they ask you to do anything negative to yourself, but I believe that they have separated themselves from their community and thinking in an almost elitist way that they were better than someone to where they controlled the people that were in it. And that's what a cult is to me. What really makes it a cult is when you are afraid to stop showing up at this place or else your life will be drastically changed in a negative way. I believe that you should be able to do anything you want to do, and whether or not you're religiously tied to someone, you shouldn't be afraid to walk in and out of a building or never come back to the same place or whatever. If you feel like you have to be somewhere or your life will be drastically destroyed, they've got you. And that's it.
I would say Josh is a great guy.
Yeah? How so?
That's what
He's
was
a very
doing,
good
wasn't my
friend.
joke? Damn it.
Yeah?
One hell of a musician.
Vocals.
I just met him like maybe 30 minutes ago, but he was pretty fucking awesome. He let me into the show. I'm excited to see him play.
Fine Wednesday nights. When the power's out, we're from New York City.
This is my friend Josh, and he has known me through my process from being Carefree Allie to being Cycle of Life Allie.
Perhaps the idea of like manhood and when is that going to hit? Like, when am I going to wake up one day and just feel like I've accomplished enough and therefore I'm satisfied? You put me in a room and I can say smart things, but you put me by myself sometimes and it feels like I'm waiting for something to happen that's going to tell me like when I'm a grown-up or something.
A million fires burn faster than anything. Nobody batting an eye. The spooky vision coming out of our streets. Holy shit, I didn't do that, did I?
It makes you think, oh, they're actually listening to me. Like I listen to you.
I'm just making bad decisions and going down into dark places. I don't want to be in like the cellar anymore, you know? I feel the sunshine. That's what the key is, you know, is getting this from other people, getting it for yourself, and then passing it along and saying, if I can do this, you can do this.
Swear I would if I could have.
I'm here because of Josh. His attention and compassion towards me and friendship and his leadership. It's nice to just have someone listen, maybe kind of help pull things out of me.
Inside our cities, inside our hearts we're on fire. Inside our cities, inside our hearts we're on fire.
Your presence is almost a catalyst
in the best possible way. You have an interesting energy because it has a way of expediting information, compacting it, consolidating it, and able to communicate it. And I noticed that with Ali, and I noticed it with Jesse, and especially noticed it with Mark. You understand this information about as intimately as anybody could possibly understand it.
Bravery implies that there's an enemy, right? But there isn't. The enemy is only the fear. When the wake comes, when the media comes, when the emotions come about Charles's transition from us, instead of brave, just fearless.
I will. I'm gonna get my bowling.
Ginger, I told the camera crew they can follow you on your date.
I want to go bowling.
Maybe
So
we
fun.
should
Go on the other side of this.
You can keep an eye on me.
Thank you very, very much for coming tonight.
The highlight of my accomplishments is to have somebody who was fearful that I've worked with that said to me, thank you, whom I know has now understood what it is to be about living in the present. The highest accomplishment is not about me, it's about what other people have offered to me. It's about giving. It's not about taking. I did want to broach the idea, and you know about the group, the very important ritual that we have of the bloodletting. It can sound scary to people, they don't understand it. The blood that is within your body that keeps you alive, in a sense, is nothing more than the blood and the water and the life force that keeps the world and the earth alive. And our ritual of going out to someplace wild and taking a small amount of blood and mingling it with the earth is a reminder of who you are in relation to the world and to yourself. And you get to see something, literally see something that is your life force. I just feel compelled to help other people just by giving them suggestions. I don't want to tell people what to do. If I ever felt like I was telling people what to do, how to live, I think I'd walk away from myself for a while and take a reevaluation of what exactly I'm doing.
What is the next step?
Well, that's kind of hard to answer. The next step is up to you entirely. This is the primary ritual. This is the ritual where we induct the person into their first bloodletting. Mark is doing this for the very first time today. This is a very important thing. We want to be in a place where we can perform our ritual without interference from the outside. It's not like we shun the outside. No, we do not. We want people to understand it. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. Why I'm talking to these fine people. Why I'm talking to you right now. It's very important to understand the connection to the earth, not a connection to the natural life that you have around you, that you walk on every day. The earth.
This ecosystem is everything. We're all connected. I think society's lost, the view of the whole thing. This connection with life. So we have problems with the trees are gone, killing the animals in the ocean. It's all part of the same ecosystem. People don't understand things like that. We're all connected. That's the whole point.
There's something magical about this feeling of giving our blood, giving our essence, giving a part of us to the earth, and reuniting ourselves with that and feeling that within us, is something I can't even describe.
This will prepare you for when that moment comes to sit back and breathe a second. Remember, hey, we are all one.
It's indescribable. When I first did it, it was magical to me. It was a feeling. It was the beginning of a new. That that really changed my life. Now, I can go into the city, and it's not a challenge for me. It was before this, but now I can go with my head up high. I can look at anybody in the eye, and I know that I'm always connected. I have my brothers here. I'm always connected. We have something so magical, so beautiful because of Charles, and I'm so grateful on so many levels. I can't explain it to you. You have to live it, and when it comes to you, you know, and when it happens, it's the most beautiful thing you could ever imagine.
This ritual up in Westchester is a very solemn, sacred ritual where we want to have our members together without the trappings of, for instance, the city. But we don't do it in Madison Square Park, we don't do it at Verdi Square, we don't even do it in Central Park. We do it up where we can be alone. That's important. Beautiful, isn't it? Our group is to remind you of the connection to that earth, stripping away all the chemicals, all the fabrics, all the metals, your blood connected to the earth that gives you life from the time you were born. Very sacred. It's a very sacred time. Oh yeah, everybody. One of the rituals, one of the most important rituals when people make the decision to join a group is to offer 5 or 6 ounces of their own blood. Well, that sounds pretty severe, doesn't it? To give blood is a way of reminding themselves of their connection to the earth. It's probably going to take a little bit of force to get into that. One life dies, another life begins. And that which died did not really die. All part of the same thing, all part of that which we know as the collective. That's what you will come to know, and you're on that journey now to know what that collective means.
Life is cyclic.
And I know what it means for myself, and you must know what it means for yourself. In time it will happen. And you are making a very serious gesture here, a very sacred gesture here. I just want you to remind you of that. And I know you know that. The words between another human being conceal something that makes it very special. And beyond that, there are no words. So whenever you are ready.
I'm ready.
The life of the earth and the life of you are one. There is no difference. And there is nothing greater than that understanding.
through talking about it, I feel more one with the collective and these people that I'm here with. With you, Charles, Junior, Josh.
Give him some time.
Thank you.
Nothing has to happen right now.
How do you feel about Mark's first ritual?
That's for Mark to say.
Mark.
I am very joyful for him. But beyond that, may I?
How do you feel?
Please. Think you'll feel better after the blood ritual?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's up to me to decide.
I mean,
That's
honestly,
absolutely
like, that's,
right. He said it. It's up to him to decide.
I think the thing that's clear is that I have a good friend base. You know?
Put this down here. I don't want anyone to get hurt tripping in it.
So tell us about the new space.
So the new space is it's 2 floors. It used to be 1 floor. With the demand of yoga these days, and you know, it being in such a heavily packed location in town, we've had no choice but to make it 2 levels, so we can offer more of a selection for our customers class-wise. Our new customers trying out yoga for the first time, welcome. As you can see, we're still under construction. This is our new space. Notice how beautiful it is.
Jesse! Jesse! Come here.
Oh my God.
It's about time.
Yeah.
I know. Wow.
It's about time, man.
I didn't know this was what this was going to be like when I finally.
Well, you knew it was
I'm
gonna
glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Whoa. Where do I start?
Well, anywhere. Start right here, right now.
What was it like the first time you met Charles?
It was great. It felt right.
You know, after talking to Charles, I mean, all my limits, everything was released, and I just had this new way of thinking. And he really draws something out of you that you really start to find out who you are, and nothing I could ever find with my religion. I mean, I was raised into Christian and Catholic, and until I met him, I didn't really know who Jesse was.
I want to know from you how you feel right now. Because it's really wonderful to meet you. It is. I've heard a lot about you.
All yours right now.
It's crazy that we meet, you know. I mean, and I've had a
Forgot about you.
little drink. I'm a
We never work anymore.
That's good. You're feeling loose. You're feeling light.
I'm feeling
You're
light.
happy.
I'm feeling loose. I'm feeling happy because
Yeah.
what you knew that I knew we'd just click, and we did. When she came to me, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I thought she was crazy, probably like so many people I know. I mean, like so many people I've told, so many people I've,
It's okay.
and I'm into it. I see it. It's part of my practice. It's part of my mantra. It's kind of smoothing out the wrinkles of your life. You know what I'm saying? Those unanswered questions, it's getting rid of them and saying, hey, this is a flat, tangible surface now. You know what I'm saying? Therefore, repairing the stagnant energy.
It's really a flow into the next transition. It's smooth. You know, we think suicide, it's bumpy, it's rocky, it's, like you were saying, it's depressing.
Yeah.
And that's not this at all.
Finally, for once in my life, I've said, it's my choice. This
is my choice.
Exactly.
Everything is my choice.
How long has it been since you'd actually said to yourself, oh, this is my life, this is what I'm going to do right here, right now?
I remember the day, and this weight, my shoulders, I had no neck. I had no fucking neck. Seriously. I'm a yoga teacher with no fucking neck. This is why the cycle is good for me, because it calms me down. It allows me to remember that I'm in control, you know, when I let things really get to me. And I haven't felt this way since I was a kid. Doing my cartwheels, just not caring, laying down, playing marbles. And now, you know, and then all this pressure and all this life.
So all of these ties, all these chains that people put on you, all these expectations that people place on you, it's all about them. It's not about you. It's all about them. It's all about the political system. It's all about a religious system. It's all about something that you're supposed to eat, or you're supposed to love, or you're supposed to wear. All the programming. Fuck it, man. It's about you.
That's it. It's me, right here, right now, with everyone, with fucking. My family doesn't really even speak to me anymore because they're horrified. But they haven't given it a chance. They don't want to see inside yet. And everyone has their time. So it's just something you eventually get used to dealing with. No one's going to accept anything until you show them. I pull out pictures, and this is a moment in time. Get this. Live and choose. Here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. You want me to get one of you guys?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Hello? I'm Charles Anderson. And this is my day. November 2nd, 2010. It's time. Yeah, there are a lot of things I could say. More words? I don't know. I'm just very honored to have come to know, love, and understand Charles Anderson as myself.
It's a nice night, you know. There's a lot of other things to think about besides like the rules or the beliefs or, you know, transitioning. I mean, it's just nice out. You know, we can talk about that. It's nice to feel alive, and it's not. I think a lot of the interviews and the questions that people might be interested in, if there's going to be some kind of sensational documentation of this event, are the darker ones, and I don't really feel dark about it. It's not something that. That's just not at all how I feel about it. So it's not dark to me like that. And these particular questions, I feel like that's how it's going to come off, and maybe that's to make something interesting. But really, it's just a nice night, you know. It's nice to feel alive, and it's nice to not be afraid.
This is a reminder not only of the waves of the water of Earth, but also of the waves of the water of Earth of us, that we're one. The collective is all. And there's nothing more.
You know, the submersion is a reminder of what's here and what comes next. That you don't have to live in fear once you recognize that that there's no reason to be afraid, you know, of death, of life, of anything. When you realize that there's nothing to be afraid of and that this whole thing is a gift, it changes your life.
When the time comes, and when I make the decision to transition, and it will be a clear, definite decision. I want Josh to carry on. We've talked a great deal about this. And it's very important that someone understand to the level that he does that which will be carried forth.
Let this be a reminder of water, of earth, earth and water of you. That you're one. We needn't be afraid of anything. This is who we are. This is our joy. Are you ready?
Yes, yes! What more needs to be said?
It really is a celebration, and I'm a changed man for it.
This is the culmination of my work. But my work does not stop. It does not end, because my work will continue. And I want to talk to you, Josh, because I know you're going to listen to this. I know a lot of people are going to listen to this. I want all of my group members to take this to heart. Everybody is in their own process. Everybody is in their own life, with their own ability to choose their life at the moment. But Josh, you're a special guy. I've come to quite love you because your understanding of my principles, I can only say, are equal to my own. So I ask you, Josh, I ask you to consider taking my flock, the people who remain, and helping them. Help Paul. Paul, he's confused. He is scared. Some other members will be scared and frightened. They don't quite understand yet. They're close to an understanding, and that is part of the journey. It's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to be scared. It's okay not to know exactly what's going to happen. But I want to tell you, I love all of you. Again, I say, Josh, take this to heart and consider helping my followers along, to extend the word. I've spent a great deal of my life leading up to this moment. I'm leaving behind a beautiful, horrifying world. I've lived a life that's full of magic, full of horror, full of introspection, full of love, full of hate, full of all those things that are combined and in between. And I just want to say that I am very happy to have known all of it.
And with Mark and I, it's not like we're about to make. We're not meeting. And so just hanging out. Top 5. Let's do this. Hey. Hey. Ready?
Coffee.
Yeah, I have more coffee. You patient?
Hey. What's going on? What up, Oh, how you doing?
Alright. Yeah. And you?
I'm okay. Stopped practicing a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. You stopped practicing?
What?
I just haven't practiced yoga in like 2 weeks. Just don't feel the need to right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's good to see all of you.
It's weird.
It just brings everything into reality again.
Hey.
Track you down. The trail will be long gone. The sense of you is gone.
Hey. How are you?
Sunshine, that's so
It's great. And I think it's just part of, rediscovering after losing such a close mentor, and she works so much now, and I barely see you guys. I mean, it's great to see you, and I think this is going to help with reconnecting, and I hope, at least.
It's natural that we feel lonely, but that was never the point of this. Obviously, and I feel like this sensationalist, that's going to be the focus, because that's how we're feeling.
I think that we should all feel comfortable at any point in time to just leave the room and be with ourselves or be with him.
I don't think I realized I was gonna miss him this much.
Yeah, I know. And I think that that's okay. I think that what we're all going through is that. And I think it's just feels weird to have Dad on camera, because I feel like that's what they're gonna explore. You know what I mean? As opposed to the actual meaning of the transition, which is to join the collective and to experience the sense of relief. And it was never about the death and the leaving. It was about the living.
My duty, learning from Charles, is to make people, happy, not push them away. But I know that I can. I almost sense that he's here.
Here we go.
I'm Charles Anderson. And this is my day. November 2nd, 2010. It's time. Josh. This is to you, Josh. Man of strength, a man of honor. Close to me. Listen. You know what to do. Speak and the others will follow. The others will listen. Allie. I love you, Allie. I love you. Strength, vulnerability, compassion. Jesse. Jesse, you're the man of the dance. You have such power. You have such joy. You make life bright. I'm very happy that you have joined us. People will follow. There's so many. There's so many. I got to know these incredible people. Incredible people. I knew I had things to say, and I didn't. Josh, I didn't want you to have so much trouble when you come. Just be at peace.
Okay, there you go.
Just
That's
let me.
fine. No, you
let's
got
finish.
it. That's fine. That's this.
Can we just?
No, this is people's lives here. Okay. All right. Seriously. Just. I know you might not understand this, but someday this is going to be a celebration.